Some rain dance unsafely. Brace for the supercell. New near footage for your blooper reel. Who could tell?
Oh my god. Where do we start? Die already. None defy the one-man walled city. If that isn't Aesop, come on, man.
Here come the bully. I'm such a meanie. I just do what I feel. Do you feel me? Do you feel me?
Welcome, all you beautiful people. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, the old white suburbanite, the Chizzek-Juan in the house. Literally in the house. In my house. And we are here to do another video, another reaction, review, an altogether appreciation video for the one and only Aesop Rock. Arguably my favorite artist right now. I am so thankful that I've uncovered him. Not discovered him. Many people have heard Aesop, but it takes work to get to know his music. Once you can peel away a layer, once you start, I don't know, you find that Rosetta Stone, and you can start making sense of the shit that he's talking about, the world just unravels before you, and you're like, holy shit, this is deep, this is beautiful, this is art, this is literature. This is literature in musical form. That's what Aesop is. He's a prose storyteller that happens to use rap, lyricism as a medium. There's just nobody like him. So obviously you can tell I'm just swinging off of this guy's nuts. But what can you do? I mean, the artistry is there, and I want to communicate how appreciative I am of that artistry. And I think the best way that I can do this right now is to do a few videos off of the album I had on heavy rotation, still have on heavy rotation, and that's The Impossible Kid. And I know there's a couple of videos off of that album that I still haven't seen. I've been just listening to it over and over on Spotify, but I know he has a video for what's that track? I think he's got one for Mystery Fish. I think he's got one for Shrunk, and I haven't seen those. At least I think he has videos for them. I could be wrong. But we're going to start out this one with the first of this planned 5 video set. I plan on making 5 review videos or appreciation videos. I'm going to start out with Supercell. In fact, give me a sec. So we're going to start out with Supercell, and hopefully after that we're going to go to Blood Sandwich, Get Out of the Car, Shrunk, and Kirby. Because I think that those 5 songs, back to back, narrate just a phenomenal state of mind and tell a story individually and collectively that I want to share, I want to talk about. And what better way to do this than to lock myself in my room here, my little man cave, and spew my thoughts as we listen to the track and try to break down some of these lyrics and try to make sense of it. So if you're here with me, thank you. Let's go on this journey together and see what we can get out of it. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Supercell, Aesop Rock. Oh, I'm assuming I looked, I can't find a video for this one, so I'm using a random lyric video. Thank you for all the peeps out there making lyric videos. We really appreciate it. Let's get into it. I love the way this track starts. You know what I'm talking about, right? The first line.
Die already. None defied a one-man walled city. Stone-made flesh veins etched in his hands. 88 stands straight, then invasive plants and rain dance unsafely. Brace for the supercell. New near footage for your blooper reel. Who could tell?
Oh my god. Where do we start? Die already. None defy the one-man walled city. If that isn't Aesop, come on, man. So I love the imagery that these lyrics convey. They're like, he's basically saying like, look, I've fortified myself. I fortified myself away from others. And you all are trying to get in. I'm not letting any of you get in. Go the fuck away, right? I'm pouring hot oil and tar from my fortifications, from up high on these walls down onto you. Like, that's the kind of picture that I have in my head, the way he starts with it, right? Just die already. None defy the one-man walled city. Stone-made flesh, veins etched in his hands, 88 stands draped in invasive plants. A lot of stuff that could mean. 88 could refer to beat making. That's not my forte, but I know 88s are a term. And of course, it could be 1988. He's talking about a certain old school golden era because it's an 88 stance. So maybe he's talking about the b-boy stance. Though that'd be more like, 83, 84. Draped in invasive plants. That could have a double meaning, right? I read a long time ago on Rap Genius that it could be just weed, right? Invasive plants are usually weeds, and weed, of course, we're talking about is marijuana. So, draped in invasive plants means he's smoking his weed inside his little walled compound, and that's all he's doing. It could also mean that he's gone off the grid from civilization so far that he's like Swamp Thing. Not literally, but just like he's more in tune with nature. He's more part of nature than he is with civilization and culture. So that's another way it could be conveyed or construed. And it's possible that he means both, and that's like intentionally what he wants to put out. And then these next parts are beautiful because it conveys he's self-referential, like he's aware of himself. He understands that like it could be viewed as rebellion and it could be viewed as ridiculousness, right? So he's like, rain dance unsafely, brace for the supercell, mutiny, or footage for your blooper reel, who could tell, right? So rain dance unsafely, right? Native Americans would do rain dances under the pretenses that it alters the weather or influences the weather. Brace for the supercell, right? The name of the track, Supercell. What is a supercell? That's like it's a weather phenomenon. It's a particular condition in meteorology when you have certain factors or variables come together to create something like a perfect storm. So we're talking like a powerful storm that's going to result of the supercell. It is what precedes the storm. So he's rain dancing unsafely because he's basically doing stuff that's going to have a massive result of some kind, and it's dangerous, and he's doing it out of protest, mutiny. He's not going to go along with whatever the status quo is or what they expect of him. No, this is mutiny. Or maybe he's just making a fool of himself. Like, whatever he's protesting, and however he's protesting about it, maybe he just looks like a total idiot, and therefore, maybe it's not mutiny, maybe it's just footage for your blooper reel. Who could tell? Man, so much. Like, I don't talk this much about everything, right? I'm talking so much about this because it's just so dense and packed with imagery and insinuation. There's only one fucking Aesop Rock, man. There's just one. Let's move on.
Pours hot tar from the top of the barn, necktie on his head, condor on his arm, dog starve in a jar, bordering unsustainable. Mea culpa, maybe I should pray a cult. Systematic Catholic or sigil in a Baphomet unraveling. Either way, his ID show a snake and skull.
Oh my god. What is this man doing? Pours hot tar from the top of the barn, right? That's probably why I said that pouring tar or oil. I subliminally forgot, or subconsciously, it must have prompted me to that spot because I said it 5 minutes ago, and here he is repeating it, right? I mean, that's just more of that imagery that I'm talking about. He's just walled off himself, the one-man walled city. Necktie on his head, condor on his arm, right? I mean, it's more like just gone off the reservation, right? He's crazy. He's gone off the reservation. Dog star in a jar. Too much for me. I don't know. Dog star is a star in the sky. I think it's the northern star. It's supposed to it's the North Star. I hope I'm correct at this. You know, you can tell me in the comments, whatever. I think the dog star is the North Star, or it's a star that at least has been used in ancient times, or maybe recently, if you're into that sort of thing, in amateur astronomy for the purpose of orienting yourself where you are going, right? If you're on a, you know, there were no Google Maps back in the day. So you're trying to figure out how to get yourself from point A to point B, and at night you orient yourself using the dog star. But if your dog star is in a jar, you're not using it. So you're aimless, you're directionless. So I think maybe he's saying more of that. Dog star in a jar, bordering unsustainable, like this way that he's living, that he probably can't keep it up for very long.
Bordering unsustainable, mea culpa, maybe I should pray a cult. Systematic Catholic or sigil in a Baphomet unraveling. Either way, his ID show a
snake and skull. So this next part, mea culpa, maybe I should pray a cult. Like, all right, like I'm losing control of myself. I've gone off the deep end, off the reservation, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, how do I recenter myself or bring myself back to some type of normalcy? Maybe I should pray a cult. He's got this reputation for being, for reading a lot of literature about the occult. In fact, the entire fucking previous album, the most recent album he made, Spirit World Field Guide or whatever it's called, it is all about that. So he's all about that occult, supernatural, etc. He's like, well, should I pray occult? Systematic Catholic. That's what he is. He was raised as a Catholic in a religious home. Systematic Catholic or sigil of the Baphomet unraveling. So my apologies for trying to do that tongue twister right there. So sigil is like an icon that you wear, representing which house or which fiefdom you are part of, or which tribe you're part of. Right, so is the sigil of Baphomet. Baphomet is, I believe, some type of a demon or the actual devil himself in various occult belief systems. All right, well, we have your traditional Christianity, and then we have all of this stuff that is a full 180-degree departure from it, right? So which one is he? Well, either way, his ID shows a snake and skull.
Always been a private dude who couldn't keep a tally of which lies he told who. Dye his hair shade, change names in his lazy drawl. Soon enough I will estrange you all like it goes.
All right, I'm sorry. I just love that breakdown so much. I had to let it play. I'm gonna go back so we can analyze this last section of the first verse. Always been a private dude who couldn't keep a tally of which lies he told who. Pretty self-explanatory. Dye his hair, shave, change names, and his lazy drawl. Meaning, like, he's gonna change everything about himself. I'm gonna change my hair. I'm not going to have any facial hair. I'm going to change my name. I'm going to change the way I speak. And soon enough, I will estrange you all. I get ghost. Ghost meaning, ghost Swayze. It's just it's just the vernacular of, like, peace, I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm outie 5000 G, or whatever they used to say back in the 90s, right? So that's what he's saying. He's like, look, you guys keep wanting me to be part of whatever it is you guys are. And I just want to be left alone. I will estrange you all. Don't fucking push me. Don't press me. None defy the one-man walled city. It's fucking beautiful.
On Dasher, half-dead carolers, deck a whole advent calendar. Brother on speakerphone, lurking at the Burgerville. Bathrobe, hammer toes, murder in a curb appeal.
Alright. So this next part is fucking hilarious. On Dasher, half-dead carolers, deck a hall, wreck a whole advent calendar. There's so much here. On Dasher, right? Dasher is one of Santa's reindeer. And that's supposed to put into your mind that we're talking about the holidays. Christmas, the Christmas holidays. Half-dead carolers deck a hall. Wreck a whole advent calendar. If you don't know what an advent calendar is, well, usually it's like a house with doors, little paper or a cardboard model of like a house. And it'll have 30 or 31 doors on it, or windows or something. These items that you can open. And inside of the doors or windows, you're going to have some kind of piece of candy or a chocolate or something. And you're supposed to open one for each day of December. And that thing is called an advent calendar. Now, most of you will be like, motherfucker, we know what an advent calendar is. But I'm not going to front. I didn't know what an advent calendar was till I was like 40. So, maybe I'm the odd one out, right? Maybe I'm the outlier. But for real, I did not know what an advent calendar is. So when he's saying on Dasher, half-dead carolers, deck a whole, wreck a whole advent calendar, what does it mean to wreck a whole advent calendar? Well, it means, likely, what it means is he's eating the chocolates from each day all at once. Like, you're supposed to eat one chocolate for one day. It's supposed to be this kid's thing that leads up to Christmas Day, and you're supposed to just keep on with that tradition, right? Today's the 17th day. All right, let's open up door number 17. Yay, a little, I don't know, chocolate kiss or whatever. Homeboy is like wrecking a whole advent calendar. So I think like what he's trying to convey is like you're supposed to picture some dude with an advent calendar, and he's not paying attention to the rules or the traditions, and he's just eating all the chocolates from that advent calendar. No respect for that tradition, and being like, whatever, I just want the chocolate. Lunatic. This dude's a lunatic. Brother on the speakerphone, lurking at the Burgerville. Bathrobe, hammer toes, murder in the curb appeal. So, brother on the speakerphone, he's talking about his brother, who's lurking at the Burgerville. I'm thinking Burgerville is some kind of a spot, right? So his brother is calling him from some fast food eatery or a local place where he gets food. Bathrobe, hammer toes, murder in the curb appeal. Best I can figure, he's talking about like his brother in a bathrobe. Hammer toes is a certain condition you have with your toes when your toes are like this or whatever, or like they curl up, right? And it's like not really pretty to look at. So those hammer toes are murdering the curb appeal. If you know anything about that phrase in real estate, curb appeal means like when you drive past a home that is very pretty looking. If it looks really pretty and inviting, it has curb appeal, as opposed to homes that are all run down, at least from first impression, from the facade. So he's saying, look, brother's on the speakerphone. He's over at the Burgerville. I guess, it's because it's Christmas time. So brother's asking him to come home for Christmas. I'm going to have to deal with looking at him in a fucking bathrobe with his fucking hammer toes. Like, nobody wants to see that shit. I think that's what Aesop is saying. He's like, these people want me to come home for Christmas, and I don't want to come home for Christmas because I don't want to deal with any of that shit. I think.
When I'm even turning, I'm forsaken with the craving and carnivorous vegetation that take 'em for a steakums. I don't know, I gotta think about it. Truthfully, I don't know which makes me a bigger coward. Either stomach or the hubris, cash in his 2 cents, loose lips locked up over a chewed Eucharist, or maybe reappropriate the energy. Hold up, passing up poultry to Hecate.
Yo, there is so much here. There's so much here. Let me see if I can kind of sum up quickly. Because, I mean, that premise that he's building up to is like, all right, Christmas time. My brother's asking me, he's bothering me. He wants me to come home for Christmas. Would I be returning or forsaken with the craven? Craven means cowardly, right? Will I have the guts to show up for Christmas? Will I have the guts to come home for Christmas? Or am I going to be a fucking coward? Forsaken with the craven and carnivorous vegetation that take him for his steakums. There's a lot that could mean. Carnivorous vegetation, right? It's probably going back to when he was talking about being draped in invasive plants, right? So Um, is he going to, two different ways of looking at it from my perspective. Is he going to come home for Christmas, or is he going to be a coward and return back to the wilderness, back to his jungle habitat? Or is he like, you're going to be a coward and just stay, be by yourself and keep smoking your weed? It's either one of those two. It could, who knows? It could mean a million different things, because obviously this is massively per interpretation. But that's my take on it.
What I'm even turning or forsaken with the craven and carnivorous vegetation that take 'em for a steakums.
I don't know, I gotta think about it.
Truthfully, I don't know which makes me a bigger coward. Either stomach or the hubris. Cash in his 2 cents, loose lips locked up over a chewed eucalyptus.
Oh, all right. So here's Aesop talking back to his brother, going like, "Will I show up for Christmas? I don't know, man. I don't know. I gotta think about it." And I don't know which one is the more cowardly cowardly approach. Either go over there and stumble the hubris, cash in his 2 cents, loose lips locked up over a chewed Eucharist. The best that I can take it is that here we're talking about the conflict that Ace has with Christianity, or at least Christianity as it is practiced in his family's house, right? Loose lips, that means like babbling a lot, right? He has to stomach the hubris being something like undeserved pride or excessive pride. Cash in his 2 cents, that's where, you're giving your opinions. Loose lips, talking a lot, locked up over a chewed Eucharist. The Eucharist can be looked at as the ceremony of eating the bread and the wine of the Last Supper. That's the Eucharist. So loose lips locked up over a chewed Eucharist. So he's talking about like sitting at Christmas dinner and everyone's going through these Christian religious traditions. And he's like, I don't know if I have it in me to stomach all of that stuff. Or maybe you reappropriate that energy, hold up, passing the poultry to Hecate, chief goddess presiding over magic and spells. Classic Aesop, right there. So he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Am I going to go home and listen to all these motherfuckers with talking about their whatever? I don't want to go home. I don't want to deal with this Christian bullshit. Or I could be on my own and do my own thing and stay in my little spirit world and occult world, and I'll just have my own time, and I'll have my dinner with the chief goddess of magic spells, right? Let's move on.
Maybe reappropriate the energy. Hold up, passing up poultry to Hecate. Bullheaded burnout, fled his own pedigree, and never better. Never would have met your heaven anyway. Mary, go make soup out of bones. Just know when the room go cold, I'm a ghost.
Just know this, when it's not working out, I'm out of there. I'm ghost. Beautiful, beautiful.
G-H-O-S-T, ghost, he's ghost. Leak home exorcism and deworming. Fitted for a curse and a crown of birds circling. Search party falling forward, unforwarded. Meet him at the crossroads, drawn and quartered for a...
Yeah, I'm not gonna front. No idea what any of that shit means. Leak home, exorcism, and deworming. Fitted for a curse and a crown of birds circling. I think he's just describing himself and how wild and off the reservation he's gotten, right? Like, you gotta have a flea comb. He's infested in all sorts of ways. He's infested by demons because he needs an exorcism, and you gotta deworm him. I think he's talking about himself. What is he fitted for? A curse and a crown of birds circling, right? Fitted for a curse and a crowd of birds circling. More like he's close to death, and he's like a crown of birds circling is, you know, when you have your vultures ready to or crows ready to desecrate your corpse when you die. Search party falling forward unthwarted. And search party is more like those who are looking for him, right? Falling forward unthwarted. Nothing stopping the search party. They're making progress, getting on there, trying to find him, and they find him. Meet him at the crossroads, drawn and quartered. Meet him at the crossroads, drawn and quartered. Quartered, right? Now, that's a particular medieval torture, but here we can look at quartered as in quarters, and you've got the crossroads. Why you meet him at the crossroads? It's supposed to be this imagery of like, he's stuck between which way to go, and he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to make a decision and commit to the direction. He's caught in an indecision and doesn't know which way to go. Obviously, if you're looking at it like this, you're like, yeah, die already. None defy the one-man walled city. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to confront this. I don't want to deal with I don't want to go home for Christmas. I don't want to deal with my mother's and my siblings' Christianity and the shit they're talking about. But I can't keep going in this direction either because, like, this is unsustainable. Mea culpa, right? So he's stuck, and he has to make this decision.
Master of puppets outside of his cupboards. Non-dairy creamers can allow supper, and I runneth over cup full of black tap water. It's a marvel of privacy over back hunter.
Yeah, that part. Hold on, let me go back. For a master of puppets, how sad are his cupboards? Yeah. Here he's basically saying, like, look, I live in squalor. I ain't got shit, right? It's pathetic. Like, I'm supposed to be this great thing, and, like, the image of who I'm supposed to be or how others might see me or how I see myself compared to how I really live and who I am is great. There's a vast, there's a canyon of difference there. And now he's, now he's throwing in more of that Christian language and symbolism into describing himself, right? Non-dairy creamers, can of Last Supper, runneth over cup full of black tap water, marvel of privacy over pack hunter.
Runneth over cup full of black tap water. It's a marvel of privacy over pack hunter. Raspberry jelly on his Jesus toast and turn Heather Gray sweats in an Easter clothes.
That's a beautiful line. Raspberry jelly on his Jesus toast, right? If you see Jesus toast, right? In other words, if you see toast and the burnings of the toast because of the toaster create an image that looks like Jesus's face, right? That's supposed to have value. And he doesn't see any value in it. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna put some raspberry jelly on this shit and eat it. That's the way he sees it. So he's got like no respect for the Christian religion, or at least not these aspects of the Christian religion. I'm not going to flat out say that like he is wholly critical and dismissive of Christianity. Just these aspects he's definitely not a fan of. Turn Heather Gray sweats into Easter clothes. You're supposed to dress up for Easter Sunday, right? He's not dressing up. He's in fucking sweatpants. He doesn't care.
Now immediately measurable crime wave, ice age. Christ's children still skin a cat sideways.
A lot of different ways we can interpret that. Christ's children still skin a cat sideways. There's two ways that I see it. Either he's talking about how whether you're a child of Christ, even if you're a child of Christ, you can still commit heinous acts. Or it could mean what usually skin a cat means, which means be inventive, right? So not really sure which way he means that.
I don't pick teams or administer bans. I'm in the creek with a pick and a pan. It go forcibly ejected or a voluntary death scene. Tell them what the out of order blinking EMF mean.
You fucking genius. I'm in the creek with a pick and a pan. A gold digger, like a prospector, a gold digger. Like, again, what it means is like he's He's not part of society. He's not dealing with any of that shit. He is on his own, exploring on his own, living on his own. Forcibly ejected or a voluntary death scene? All right, so which one was it? Was he ostracized by others? Or did he do it by himself? Like, did he voluntarily choose to go away? He leaves it open, right? It doesn't matter. Tell him what the out-of-order blinking EMF mean. If you want to know what you call a measuring, a device that measures paranormal activity, like in fucking Ghostbusters or whatever, it's called an EMF, right? In this case, what you have is a blinking out-of-order EMF. Tell them what the out-of-order blinking EMF mean. Ghost. Bruh. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. In these 3 minutes, well, 3 minutes of song, he manages to express how he feels, how he lives, where his anxieties come from, what he wants more than anything, which is to be left alone. But he can't be left alone because he's got these family obligations. He has to return to the real world and deal with things that he really doesn't want to deal with at all. But if he doesn't do this, he continues down this road where he's even more removed from all things familiar. So he's stuck at the crossroads of, like, what do? Do I come back? Do I come back to civilization and familiarity? Or do I continue just living in this fortified shelter of mine? Like, if you're listening to this, especially to this point, then you already know he, in order to write The Impossible Kid, he, like, holed himself up in some barn somewhere in Oregon or Washington State or whatever, somewhere on the West Coast. Aesop lived in a fucking barn in order to do this. So, like, you take that actual historical reality and you superimpose this song onto it, and there's just so much there, right? Describing his siblings and the family traditions and how he needs to put up with that and deal with it. Now he'd rather just, like, not deal with any of it. Beautiful. Beautiful. There's just fucking nobody like him, man. Nobody like him spinning these kinds of yarns.
Tell him what the out-of-order blinking EMF mean.
One and only Ace. I mean, all we did was just try to break down that content. But I mean, let's also take a minute to appreciate the quality of the song itself. That breakdown just gets stuck in my head. I'll just be walking the dog going, and that is masterful instrumentation, and in my personal opinion, it really fits the lyrics and the flow of Aesop's lyrics, his flow, his delivery. I mean, he really just put together a perfect track here. Everything about this track is just butter. All right, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Remember, this is the first of 5 tracks I intend to, at least, break down and just, you know, give the man his flowers. This man deserves the whole fucking bouquet. There's just nobody like him. All right, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Tap 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 tap.
Chizzek-Juan.